Go ahead. All right, I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of the zoning administrator for the city of San Clemente for Thursday, January 21st, 2021. My name is Cecilia Gallardo Daly, and I'm the zoning administrator. The first item on the agenda is to receive and file the minutes of the zoning administrator meeting of December 17th, 2020. I have reviewed those minutes, so those minutes are received and filed. The next item on the agenda is oral and written communication. This is the time on the agenda where members of the audience may address the zoning administrator on any item within the jurisdiction of the zoning administrator that is not on the agenda. Speakers can submit their comments on agenda items to the zoning administrator electronically, and the zoning administrator is not permitted to discuss or take actions on items that do not appear on the agenda. So at this time, I have not received any oral or written communication for any non-agenda items. So we'll move on to the next topic on the agenda, which is our public hearings. And the time limitation for applicants is 10 minutes. All other speakers get 3 minutes. The public hearing process includes a staff presentation, a presentation by the applicant, as I said, not to exceed 10 minutes, and public testimony not to exceed 3 minutes per speaker. We do have one public hearing item on the agenda today, and that is a minor exception permit and a minor architectural permit for 131 Avenida Escalones. So I'll have our staff planner, Kyle Weber, give us a staff report on this item. Thank you, Kyle.
Okay, thank you, Celia. The subject property is located at 131 Avenida Escalones, and it exists within the residential medium zoning district and coastal zone overlay. The site currently has a 930 square foot single family residence with an attached 189 square foot single car garage, which was originally built in 1949. The existing building is considered legal non-conforming due to the primary building encroaching into the 5-foot side yard setback on both sides. It is also non-conforming due to the existing single car garage, which in a residential zone, 2 covered parking spaces are normally required. The owner and the applicant is requesting a 284 square foot addition to the primary building, which includes 117 square feet at the rear of the home to construct a new master bedroom and bathroom, and also a 34 square foot addition at the front entrance, and a 133 square foot addition will be added to the front of the garage to provide the necessary space for the covered parking for 1 car. Additionally, the project proposes to convert 97 square feet of the existing garage into additional living space. So a minor exception permit is required to allow the continuation of the legal non-conforming side yard setback on the west side of the building where the rear addition is proposed. A minor exception permit is also required to decrease the side yard setback for the primary structure by not more than 20% than what is required for the underlying zone. The minor architectural permit is requested to allow the non-conforming structure's gross floor area to be expanded by less than 50% while maintaining the non-conforming status, and that is as long as expansion is less than 50% of the existing floor area and the project does not remove or alter 50% or more of the exterior walls. So the overall project is a 31% expansion of the existing single-family residence gross floor area. The total proposed addition increases the lot coverage to 53.4%, where 55% is allowed in the zone. The zoning code allows single-car garages built prior to April 4th, 1962 to maintain the non-conforming status as long as less than 50% of the exterior walls are removed, which this project proposes. The proposed additions meets development standards in the city zoning code, other than the minor exception that's requested. The decrease and continuation of the non-conforming setbacks are for an addition at the rear of the property, aside for the addition at the front of the garage and entryway, which comply with development standards such as the front yard setback, again for the underlying zone. The architectural treatment of the project complies with the general plan and the city's design guidelines, especially considering the project maintains a one-story roof line in a zone that allows 2 stories. And so with that, based on the information presented today in the staff report, staff recommends to the zoning administrator to determine the project is categorically exempt from CEQA guidelines, section 15301, class 1, existing facilities, and adopt resolution ZA 21-001, presented as attachment A to the staff report and subject to the conditions of approval outlined in the attachment. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kyle, for that report. And just a couple of clarifying questions here. The required side yard setback for the property is 5 feet on each side, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. And the reduced setback that exists is non-conforming, and the project proposes to continue with that non-conformity with the expansion.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. And then currently, the rear yard setback does comply with the requirements in the code, but in order to accommodate the addition, a small reduction in the rear yard setback is being proposed.
Right. That's correct.
Okay. This property is in the coastal zone, and I understand that there are no conflicts with the coastal land use plan. So this project would not adversely affect any goals or policies of the land use plan.
That's correct. It exists in the exclusion order, and it doesn't apply any sensitive coastal environment.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, I've gone over the information in the staff report, reviewed the project plans, the findings and the conditions of approval. And I can make the findings for the minor architectural permit and the minor exception permit. For the minor architectural permit, the architectural treatment of the project complies with the city's general plan. The architectural treatment of the project complies with the zoning code, with the exception of the minor exceptions that are proposed for the project. The building scale, massing, and setbacks are in character with and compatible with adjacent properties, including the property immediately adjacent, which also has a legal non-conforming side yard setback. The architectural treatment of the project complies with the architectural guidelines in the city's design guidelines. The addition to the structure is at the rear of the property, can't be viewed from the public right of way. And the addition to the existing single car garage complies with front yard setbacks and is similar to other properties in the neighborhood. The general appearance of the proposed project is in keeping with the character of the neighborhood. It includes elements that are similar to other properties, and it maintains the 1-story height of the existing structure. As I mentioned earlier, even though they are requesting a minor exception permit for setbacks, there are other properties in the neighborhood which currently have legal non-conforming side yard setbacks of 5 feet. And the proposed minor exception permit and or minor architectural permit is not detrimental to the orderly and harmonious development of the city. The proposal involves the expansion of existing home on a developed site in an urban area, and the project complies with all applicable development standards, with the exception of the continuation of the legal non-conforming side yard setback and the decrease of the rear yard setback, but is otherwise in keeping with the neighborhood. And then with respect to the minor exception permit, the approval of the minor exception permit won't interfere with the purpose of the zone and the standards of the zone. The property maintains its residential land use, and neighboring properties will not be adversely affected as a result of the minor exception permit. The proposed additions are mostly at the rear of the property, and the addition to the existing garage at the front of the property is compatible with development in the neighborhood, and also maintains the property's ability to provide parking on site. And approval of the minor exception permit is not detrimental to public health, safety, and welfare. The project will be required to comply with building and fire codes through the construction plan check and building process. So with that, I am able to make the, I'm able to get back to the top here. Determine that the project is categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15301, class 1 existing facilities, and I approve resolution ZA 21-001, approving minor architectural permit MAP 20-228 and minor exception permit MEP 20-227, the Enrique residence, subject to the conditions of approval. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the public hearings on this item. The next item on the agenda is new business. Seeing none, we'll move to the next agenda item, which is old business. Seeing none, I will now adjourn the meeting to the next regular meeting of the zoning administrator, which will be held on Thursday, February 4th, 2021 at 3 p.m. via teleconference.